Welcome everyone, this is the Gingerbread Candidate, where we talk politics and current events, with a little bite. Well, President Trump's been at it again. He's been making the European Union jump through hoops. He's been making Canada jump through hoops. He makes the leftists, the liberals, jump through hoops, and he keeps them guessing. And they just cannot figure this guy out. You see, everyone thinks he's joking when he's talking, but the man does not just joke around. A lot of times what he says, he's coming from a certain point. When he wants something, he goes after it. He gets it. And Greenland is literally no different. Now, anyone who knows about President Trump, he starts with a big ask. He does something absurd, but then his goal in mind is normally something that's been reeled back to make sure he encapsulates something of what he's after. You see, when President Trump first suggested that the United States should look at bringing Greenland into the Union, the response was immediate. Laughter, mockery, headlines treating it like it was a punchline, but geopolitics doesn't care who laughed first, it only cares who prepared. Because here's the reality, Greenland isn't just ice and snow. It's one of the most strategically valuable locations on the planet. And in a world that's getting more competitive by the year, dismissing strategic positioning as crazy is how nations lose ground. So instead of laughing, let's actually talk about why this really matters. My friends, I hate to be the bearer of bad news or the rainy day on your parade, but it's time for a reality check. The Arctic is no longer a distant, frozen afterthought. As ice recedes, new shipping lanes are opening. Military positioning matters more. Early warning systems matter more. Resource access matters more, and this is where Greenland becomes critical. Its location gives whoever controls it enormous leverage over Arctic airspace, sea lanes, and missile defense infrastructure. And now it's time we discuss the uncomfortable truth. Newsflash, Russia and China are not passive actors on the world stage. Both have increased their presence and interest in the Arctic trifold, militarily, economically, and strategically. Russia has rebuilt Arctic bases. China openly refers to itself as a near-Arctic power. These are not academic developments, they are strategic moves. From an American national security standpoint, allowing adversarial powers to gain influence in that region would be negligent and downright foolish. Despite what the skeptics are saying, bringing Greenland into the Union wouldn't simply be symbolic. It would be decisive. The desire to have Greenland as a state or a territory controlled by the United States doesn't stem from one man's thirst to stroke his ego. Quite the opposite, actually. You see, acquiring Greenland would further cement America's status as the world's premier superpower. It would solidify U.S. dominance in the Arctic, strengthen missile defense capabilities, secure future trade routes, and most importantly, it would ensure hostile powers don't fill a vacuum we chose to ignore. That's not imperialism. That's foresight. And this is where President Trump comes into the conversation. One thing you can say about Trump, whether you love him or not, is that he doesn't posture without purpose. People laughed during his first term. They laughed about NATO pressure, they laughed about trade, they laughed about China. No one took the man seriously. All they ever did was laugh. Laugh, laugh, laugh. But you know what? Time after time, those laughs turned into very real policy shifts. You see, when the guy, my bad, with all due respect, the President of the United States of America, when he speaks, it would behoove people to listen, because the man means business. And now, it seems world leaders are finally starting to take him seriously. Of course, they act all tough and mighty at their little press conferences halfway across the world, but all of that changes the moment they sit down at the table with good old number 47. So how are we looking after this recent meeting with European leaders? Well, surprise, surprise. It appears President Trump received what he calls the framework of a future deal. It looks like we're actually moving towards acquiring Greenland in some form or fashion. Now, what that end result might look like, does it mean Greenland will become the 51st state of the United States of America? Who knows? But at some capacity, it could mean mineral rights, more bases which we're already privy to. Who knows for certain what the list might entail? But all of these things could very well become our reality. One of the problems with the left, and there are many, is that they just can't give the man a win. I understand they don't like Trump. Many on that side even appear to hate him. But they need to understand It's okay to support the president when he proposes ideas that are actually fundamentally good for the overall well-being of America. I think where many people get tripped up is that they feel throwing their support behind an individual means they buy into all of that individual's philosophies and ideals, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Supporting President Trump doesn't mean agreeing with him 100% of the time. No serious voter agrees with any candidate on every issue, but dismissing a strategically sound idea just because it didn't arrive wrapped in political politeness? That's how nations fall behind. Bold ideas are often mocked first, right before they become obvious. Honestly, once you start thinking in strategic terms, it does make you wonder. Greenland today, who knows what conversations come next? Maybe Canada finally realizes how much it already relies on American defense and decides it prefers the full membership package. And if President Scheinbaum doesn't start cooperating and getting cartel violence under control, well, I wouldn't take any options off the table. Now, before anyone hyperventilates, that's a discussion for another day. The point isn't annexation. The point is leverage. Serious nations think seriously about power, security, and influence. Greenland isn't about conquest, it's about understanding where the world is heading and making sure the United States leads instead of reacts. Go ahead, laugh if you want. History won't. Thanks for sticking around, my little ginger snaps. I've been a little spicy, a little sweet, and always 100% your gingerbread candidate. Now go ahead, cook up a comment, bake that like button, sizzle the subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next batch.